let's go down, let's go south actually, and let's start with the neck, because that's the next thing that we should do after the head, the neck. And yeah, this is the, I kind of forget, the sternomastoid kind of muscle, and that's a very big muscle, very prominent in your neck, and that's what we're building, we're sculpting here, the sternomastoid. And okay, now we need a little bit of groove around the here, because this is actually a hollow part of the neck, and that's why it's kind of hollow. And so that is also the reason why we get that sharper jaw around this area, because this triangle area is actually hollow, and as it moves to the middle, it has muscles here around the under the neck, which is yeah, that's where your throat is. And okay, let's add a little bit of groove around the chin, because that's, unless you're obese, you're likely to have a little bit of groove around the lower chin here, and that's what we're building. Yeah. And yep, let's create that loop to the top, and just to smoothing it out, give a little bit definitions. And yeah, that's the throat part, and before it's subdued again, create a little bit of groove again when it hits the collarbone, the middle of the collarbone. And so yeah, let's move it front a little bit so it creates a fuller neck. So you don't want it to look like that you're holding your breath, like kind of thing. So yeah. Okay, now what we should do again with the neck. Okay, that's cool. So from this point, we should also add this crossing thing to the side, so that you can, I'm not really sure the name of the muscle, but it's there. It's very, I mean, like if you look at everyone, they're gonna have this X kind of thing going on around the neck. So yeah, that's probably what we should do next. So that's kind of cool. That's enough. I mean, like this muscle should be smaller and less prominent than this one. So yeah, I think that's gonna be enough. And okay, next is just actually gonna be that muscle. I kind of forget what it's called, but it actually goes from this to the vertebrae column thing. So it goes basically this way, and yeah, go that way. And before that, and then behind that, we've got the traps muscle, which encircle it, and they go to the front collarbone. This is the collarbone, and they kind of end in the collarbone. And yeah, this is the traps muscle, the trapezoid muscle. And just give it a little bit definitions. As you can see that, well, we start to lack start lacking um, the polygons. As you can see, it starts to pixelate it, because if you turn on the wireframe, you can start to see that it's stretched. So we're just gonna create a map for the next level. So yeah, which is good enough. I mean, like, it's just a placeholder so that later we know what to do. So okay, now let's create that. And yeah, that's looking great actually. Create a groove here. This from that point to the trapezoid. And the trapezoid looks a little bit rough, so I'm just gonna smooth things out so that they don't look like a zombie. And yeah, maybe the collarbone is a little bit thin. It should be a little bit forward, like that. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna thin the sternomastoid, so because it looks like way too bulky. Anyway, you can always, you know, turn on the original model so that you can see how far your sculpting has gone. So you know where to smooth, where to smooth, or where to add definitions. So that's why we keep copy the original. And yeah, now let's add the collarbone. Collarbone, and then there's this groove around it. And okay, it's always nice to create this triangle kind of thing from this, and this, because that's usually how our chest is shaped. Okay, now before we go to the chest area, let's do the back area first, the neck area. So I'm gonna create that classic groove at the base of the neck, and sorry, the base of the skull, and because that's where this is actually where your skull ends and your traps muscle started. That's the groove, and we create that diamond shape to create a little bit of opening for the vertebrae, the seventh cervical vertebrae. Sorry, I kind of forget it. So this is the seventh. You will most likely, if you're not, I mean, like, not everyone can have a very protruding, a very prominent seventh, but you will have it, this little stump behind your neck, and you will feel that there is one gigantic, at least it's much bigger than the rest of the cervical vertebrae, and that's your seventh vertebrae. So yeah, that's it. Now we continue with the traps. As you can see that they go to the front, and then they're gonna be shaped something like that, right? So yeah, let's do it. First, we're gonna create another groove. This is we start to lack some poly counts, some face counts here. So we cannot really do that. So what we're gonna do is actually just to create a map for the next. This is the spine of the. Let's see what we're doing wrong. Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. Now, I'm gonna create a groove here, just so because this is this is where the trapezius muscle is, and then this is where our what's called hang on a minute. I kind of forget what is the bone. Human bone. What is called the clavicle, the scapula. This is where this is where the trapezius muscles will be, and this is where our scapula will be. So there's gonna be this dimple around it, this corner, because to separate the trapezius and the scapula muscles. So yeah, which is we cannot really give too many definitions for now because we are kind of lacking face counts here. So yeah, add a little bit of definitions, and yeah, so this is where the this is where the what is called again, the vertebrae muscles, back muscle, the lower back muscles gonna be, and yeah. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the front and let's create the chest muscle. Okay. Chest gonna be from this to there. Sorry, this is the shoulder muscle, the frontal one, and they're gonna create a little bit of flat groove because this is the bony part of the shoulder, and yeah, create a little bit definitions, and the chest muscle is gonna go under it this way. Let's create a little bit definition around that, and that's where the chest muscle is gonna be, a little bit up. Okay, let's create muscles, chest muscles going from the side to the front. Okay, as you can see that chest muscle is kind of divided to three areas. The clavicle area, this shadow, the thing that creates a shadow here. They go from the clavicle to the side, and then there's the sternum part, which goes from the side to the other to the middle. This is the sternum, and there is the other one, but it's kind of hidden because by the breast, because this is a female model. which naturally have a breast, and it's gonna fit in. You're gonna see it if it's a male model. So for now, we're gonna just create 3 parts of the chest muscle, and yeah, that's looking good. Add a little bit volume to the side, and yeah, push it up a little bit, smooth it up, and yeah, it's kind of good because we cannot really add too much definitions because it's already starting to stretch out around here. So we're just gonna give a little bit of a placeholder so that we can do it in the next level. Okay, now that's the frontal. This is the middle, and this is the back part, the back shoulder. They create a very nice 3 separate areas. The joint in the middle here, and it should be somewhere around a half of the upper arm. That's a good starting point. You can adjust it accordingly. Some people have it higher, some people have it lower, but it should be around here. And yep, a little bit up. Okay, now okay, that looks good. Now we add what we should add next. Okay, I think we're gonna do the torso first before we go to the limbs, which is the arm. And yeah, I'm just going south towards the rib cage and completing this chest muscle around the breast. Okay, and yeah, let's do it. The rib cage. So the rib cage, you can actually tell the rib cage from this thing. They create that nice loop here, you can see, and top, and that's a very convenient body landmark, the torso, and we can really use it easily because they create a very continuous line, which is very helpful to determine which is which, you know, because where one starts and the other ends, that's kind of important. And okay, this is the rib cage, and okay, now from the rib cage we're going up, and this is where our abdominal muscle will be, and just create a groove around here because this is the first column of the muscle, which is more likely to have this groove in the middle, and that's why I added. And as it goes down, it's become more subdued, the groove, before it's completely gone around the belly button. Okay, now let's create another groove here, and we're gonna start. This is another very helpful landmark, is from the tip of this, the tip of the rib cage, and then it will connect to the this to the aces. If you're very familiar, it's that stump in your hips, in the front part of the hips, and that's called aces. And it stands for, wait a minute, aces. Okay, and that's called anterior superior iliac spine, even though no one's really called that. So I just call it aces. So it starts from top to bottom, and then it continues to the aces, which is this part, and very helpful, right? We can create a landmark as we go, and yeah, continue the groove. This is the groove, adding another groove so that we can create better. This is the side, and this is where the belly starts, the underbelly, and this is where it kind of reduced, and this is going to be hollow for a while, and it will starts to puff up around the genitalia. As I mentioned, this is not safe for work, and you may know why for now, because yeah, it's a full zoom in kind of new sculpting, and so yeah, that's the reason. So okay, that looks kind of good, kind of cool. Just gonna smooth it out a little bit, and yeah, okay. Let's continue from behind. Okay. Okay, now to create a little bit of definition. Okay. This is where the Venus dimple is gonna be. That's basically in the medical words. It's actually the other way. It's the opposite of the aces. It's called paces, posterior superior iliac spine, and that's basically the Venus dimple, which is here, and everyone has one, and that's basically, you know, a nice landmark actually, which you can use just to so that you know which is which, and yeah, a little definition around the this is the name is erector spinae, and yeah, maybe I have to hide the arm and the hand, and it's kind of handy, this base model, because I've created both the arms. You can select that, and the hands, and just press H to hide it, and now we can sculpt the side of the body easier, and yeah, that's cool. Now let's create first that bridge, the hip wing, the iliac. Basically the iliac is that wing of the hips that you can see around it, that we can see around our side part of the hips, and that's basically called iliac spine. And yeah, so this is the groove, this is the aces, and from the aces we can create something like, okay, something like that. We go to the side, and I'm gonna explain later what this is, but for now let's create the butts, the glutes. Yeah, the glutes is gonna be two ways of doing it. There's gonna be two parts of the glutes. It's gonna be the medius, which is here, the top part, the one that actually touches the ilium, and there's gonna be a groove here. That's basically the end of the gluteus medius. And yeah, this is gluteus medius, and this is gluteus maximus. This is basically the part that people refer to as, you know, butts, because this is a very big muscle, and it starts from our Venus dimple, the paces, and they just go to the side here. This is the medius, and this is the gluteus maximus. Sorry, this is the gluteus maximus. This is the gluteus medius, and you're very much likely to see a little bit of groove here when these two muscles meet, and that's what I add, a little bit of groove, just to give it a little bit of definitions, even though it's already been stretching the polygons, the faces, and so it's just gonna be placeholders. And yeah, that's good. The next thing is to create a little bit of this thing. This is actually the bone. This is actually the head of the thigh bone, which is gonna be a very round thing. And yeah, I'm just gonna add there. And for females, this head of the femur is, or the thigh bone, is very prominent. That's why I added. For males, it's not gonna be very visible, but for females, it's very visible. And yeah, so this is it, and it's gonna run down the, so we're gonna create that that classic wrap around the thigh, the outer thigh, and that's basically I kind of forget what it is, but it's there. It's basically, hang on a minute, maybe I can find it. Muscle thigh, muscles. You should really read, I should really reread my Grey's Anatomy thing book. It's called iliotibial band. Yes, and that's it. And iliotibial band and iliotibial tract, which is basically this wrapper, this kind of triangle kind of thing, and that's basically wraps the side of your thigh. Basically, that's kind of, yeah, wrap around. So yeah, okay, now we got it wrapped up, and yeah, now let's start from the front. And this is the thing that we create earlier, is basically the middle thigh bone, thigh muscle, which I kind of forget what it's called. It's, hang on a minute. It's called rectus femoris, and yeah, that's this thing, the middle part. It creates kind of this shape, and it's big at the top, and as it goes downwards towards the kneecap, it's kind of smoothed out. So yeah, the next we're gonna add is actually the two muscles at its side, and it's what's called again? Vastus lateralis. This part here, the bulging part at the outer edge of the thigh, and that's called vastus lateralis. And the ones in the inside of it, it's called vastus medialis. Yeah, sorry for that. And yeah, just gonna add that two lumps, which create that diagonal thing. And yeah, this is the kneecap. I'm gonna put a little bit groove here for the rectus femoris, because it's kind of deep inside there. And okay, that's looking good. And it's really ripped legs. I know that. We're gonna fix that later, but again, the same principle applies. I mean, like, you can always smooth things out, but you cannot really make it sharper once you're done. So I always prefer to make it really sharp, and then we can just smooth it out later. So okay, this is the wrap, and okay. Smooth it out. Okay. Now, let's do with the calf. The calf is kind of tricky. The track, the iliotibial track, is really just going down to the tibia, as its name suggests, and from there it's gonna create a muscle, which I forget, and really forget what that is. So, and I don't think I'm gonna figure it out now, which is, yeah. So this is the muscles, and you kind of forget what it is, but it's there, that muscle, which originate from the iliotibial tract. They kind of intertwine, and okay. Now I think the knees is a little bit awkward, because it should be popping out a little bit, and yeah, that's better. You can get a little bit of definitions to the knee, and yeah. Okay, now we have to deal with the ones that at the behind, the calf, the actual calf. Yeah, let's create that bone, the bony thing first, that rights to the ankle. Let's check my reference. How's that planing out? Okay. Okay, now we're gonna add, yeah, this is the track. Now we just have to create the actual, now just round, smooth out the butt, the gluteus maximus thing, because the thing is, it's not muscle. This part is very much fat. That's why it's supposedly to be smooth, you know. So yeah. Okay, now we create the tricep of the leg. And it starts from the crotch, so you can see this diagonal kind of shape, which is normal. Just like our tricep is actually, believe it or not, but one part of our tricep originates in our scapula. So yeah, that's a fun fact. Maybe I'm gonna flat this out a little bit so that you can see that it pops out around the here. Okay. Okay, now we get the groove again. Let's see my geometry. It's the groove supposedly is on the same edge loop as the knees, as you can see, and we already did, and we're on the right path for now. Okay. Make it bulge a little bit at the very end, something like that, and yeah, smooth it out a little bit, and we eventually get another groove, I think. This is I kind of forget to add the tibia. The actual tibia has that protruding thing going on here, and yeah, let's get to my reference. I'm looking for the tibia. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, that's how tibia is gonna be. It's not gonna be too much, actually. Okay, maybe that's enough. Okay. Okay. This thing goes to the tibia. The track goes to the tibia. And that's the tibia. Goes from the tibia to... Okay. That's cool for now. Anyway, we are lacking the geometry, so it's not gonna matter anyway. So just gonna be placeholding this thing. Okay, now let's do the calf, which is gonna be in very interesting shape because, okay, this looks good. Okay, now we end up with another. So this is gonna be two kind of line. This is the iliotibial tract, and this is gonna be the bicep thing, the bicep tendon, and from that we're gonna have another. This is the actual calf muscle, which goes to the beyond and the root from here, and they're gonna round to the back here, and just like what we did with the knee, they create this diagonal line. Same thing happens with the calf muscle. They kind of go with diagonal line, and smooth it out. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, and we can just do with the inner calf, and it's a little bit harder to see it, but okay, so the way to do it is actually to hide it, but the problem with hiding is that this part is not gonna be the one that's hidden. It's not gonna be sculpted, which is okay actually, but we're just gonna have to do something about it later. So yeah, let's do it. Just gonna smooth the bicep a little bit. And yeah, the next thing is we're gonna start from the front, because that happens in the front. And what happens in the front is basically these long thin bones coming from the aces down to this part, and that's called sartorius. This one I remembered because that's kind of important. And yeah, this is the sartorius, this is the rectus femoris, this is vastus medialis, and this is going to be a little bit hollow around the crotch. You can smooth it out, and yeah, that's it actually. So that's just the bone, and let's reorient the bicep thing to the crotch. Just give it a little bit of accuracy. Yep. And yeah. Okay, that's looking good. Make it a little bit thinner. And yeah, add a little bit bone here. Okay, that's looking cool. And the next thing is gonna be, this is the calf muscle, the inside part. Let's create a groove here for us, so that this is gonna be the shape. Gonna be like a very round to behind, to the back. And Okay. Now that's a very, very round calf. Now you might be thinking then, what's we gonna do with the rest of the calf? And well, okay. First we got this one bulging calf muscle, and next is actually we're going to have a kind of a wrap again. It's just like that thing, iliotibial tract. Sorry. Let's save it for now. And yeah, believe it or not, that the calf is also having that wrap thing going on from the inside. So they go from here, and they wrap the calf muscle, and they're just gonna wrap it until the bottom. And yeah, wrap it up in that muscle. Okay, looks like it. A little bit rounder, and yeah, that's looking good. Now we're gonna create that Achilles tendon thing. Gonna create that very prominent Achilles tendon, and we're gonna pull this up a little bit because the outer what is this called again? That bulging thing. This I don't know what it's called. I kind of forget it. It's gonna be higher. The ball, this stump. The other one is gonna be a little bit higher. So again, this also creates that diagonal pattern, just like this one. They go create that pattern again and again. The same way goes with the stumps. I kind of forget what it is, but this is the thing. Okay. Okay, that's looking cool. Now we can just make the tibia a little bit prominent, so that this is the tibia, right? This is the bone. The tibia goes from there. Wait a second. Wait a minute, second, and leg. Okay. Okay. Goes from the tibia. This is also the bone. So this is the muscle. And yeah, they go from here to here. I'm gonna wrap it up. And at the bottom, they're gonna create a tendon to the foot, which is gonna be that bridge thing. Okay. The thing is, I'm not gonna be too detailed around the foot because, to be honest, it doesn't really need that much of definition because it's very simple. However, I'm just gonna give it just enough definition that it doesn't look very cartoony kind of foot. So yeah, the first important thing that you need to add is actually that this tendon that goes from this to here, this continuation, which is important because that adds a little bit of definition. And yeah, and also this thing, so it spreads from that point to the pinky of the foot. This also goes to the big toe, to the thumb of the foot, and the rest is just gonna be going down. This part, this middle part is gonna be hollow, and okay. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Just add a little bit of more flashy thing, because it's gonna be that. Before it's get big again. Round, I mean, sorry. Sorry that I kind of babbling because this is actually non-scripted thing, which is very, very hard because I don't usually talk while I work. I mean, like, so, like, most of my brain is gonna be in here, in the actual sculpting, while my mouth is just spitting, you know, stuff, basically. So I'm really sorry if I sound gibberish for this one. So add a little bit of roundness to the toe area. It's a little bit too much. Let's do it again. Better. Really, I mean, like, I think the best way to sculpt is basically to cross hatch. Basically, I mean, like, if you already are familiar with the concept of drawing, I think cross hatching comes very, very handy in sculpting, especially sculpting in 3D, because it feels natural, I guess. So yeah, soft this thing out. Okay, and we may pull this out a little bit, pull it down so that it's not too hollow, and pull it back, pull it out, back out, and we got a nice leg and a nice foot, basically. Let's smooth this out, because the thing here is actually should be flat before they go mushy and flashy in the middle, because this part, the heels, is very bony in many ways. So yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good enough for now. And yeah, let's add a little bit of a definitions to the, it starts to stretch out basically, so I'm not gonna add too much details, just gonna make a common detail, the big ones, just like this protrusion around the big toe, also in all subsequent toes, checking in my geometry, my topology I mean. Yep, that's the correct place to edit. Okay, just give it a little bit of stump, you know, that one, and also somewhere around the end, and a little bit of groove next to it. And basically that's the only details that you kind of need for the toes, because it's a very small area that you don't want to be bothered too much with it. Maybe just make it a little bit tapered around the edge here, and yeah, that's it. Actually do it for the rest, for the other. Yep. Anyway, it's also small that my brush is kind of, you know, they kind of pull in the wrong direction. And yeah, that's it. That's the pinky, and we can move on. Maybe just a little bit of this. Let's work on the outer heel, the sole. We create a very straight line here. Create that protrusion, and they go to the small toe, the pinky toe. Maybe just add a little bit of definition to that, something like that, and yeah, it looks actually a little bit better, a little bit more natural at least. Yeah, and that's for the legs, and yeah, I think that's it for the legs. Let's just okay. Add a little bit definitions to the calf, and yeah, I think we're done with the legs. Maybe this one a little bit. Okay, it's a very buffed leg anyway. We can, and I like it that way. I like it very buffed, and because, well, she is a goddess anyway, so I think it's appropriate for her to have a very, very strong buffed up legs. And anyway, we can just smooth it out later. Okay, now the next thing, I think I'm just gonna make a little bit, the profile is a little bit bad. It should have a nice curve to it, and okay, that looks good. And this is what I meant with hiding. As you can see now that we have hidden the left part of the legs that we have worked. Now the legs is different from the left and the right, even though that we have activated the X mirror. And so yeah, we're gonna have to deal with it later. However, we can just continue for now and deal with the arms. And so let's see, let's fix the chest again a little bit. And okay, that's okay, that looks okay. Make it a little bit puffed up around the chest. And yeah, let's go to the arms. Now the bicep, this is the bicep it's gonna be. And just like what we did with the legs, I want it to be really defined for the bicep. So yeah. Okay, that's a bicep. This is the groove. Let's add the groove here. So okay, let's go to the tricep behind. And the triceps is gonna start from the, one of them is gonna start from the scapula, just like I mentioned earlier. And they're just gonna go up to create that classic tricep shape and create that groove inside it. And this tricep is 3, so this is the lateral part, and the bottom one here is the medial, sorry, I'm gonna forget, this is the hang on a minute, tricep. The long head, the short head, and the medial head. The Latin for it is, yeah, the long head, the lateral head, and the medial head. The medial head is, this is the lateral, and this is the long head, and this thing in the middle is called tendon, but actually there is a tricep medial inside it that give it a little bit volume, so that's why it's puffed up too. Yep. That's looking cool. You just pull it up a little bit so that it creates a better shape. And let's see our topology. Make sure that I don't change the structure. Okay, that's good tricep. That's the long head coming from there. This is the tendon. And this is the elbow, basically. And this is the tricep, this is the bicep. I'm gonna smooth it out a little bit, and okay, now we're gonna create that long sorry, where's the that okay, it should be here. We're gonna create that because this is the tricep, and then there's this muscle. I kind of forget what it's called again, which goes from here and they wrap around and they go to here, to the bottom, and yeah. Okay. Now there's also another muscle, the bigger volume. Same thing, they go from up to bottom. That way. And then this one is gonna be very flat as it goes to your arm, to your hand, I mean. It's gonna be very flat because it's very bony too. And that's the elbow, and they gonna have a right the bone to the ulna. This one is the ulna, another stump here, and gonna create that contrast, bony contrast between the ulna and then the hand. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Now the next thing that we can do is from the bottom. Okay. Now this is also a bony protrusion, right? That thing. The inside of your arm. You're gonna feel that there's this bone here, which is very prominent compared to the lateral, this one here, which is kind of hidden under that thick muscle. And meanwhile, this one isn't. This is kind of exposed. And yeah. Next, we're just gonna create that. From that, we create a nice muscle wrapping around to the under of this muscle. So they're not very much different from the calf actually. When you think about it, this part is not different than that part, so it's actually the same. I mean, like, structurally they're identical because, well, the thing is, we're supposed to, I mean, like, our ancestry is the same. We are four-legged mammals, meanwhile, even though that we have grown to have very, very short arm and very long legs, but they remain the same, I mean, structurally. So, yeah, look at that. Let's make it a little bit flatter. Okay, now we're just gonna do that. Gonna cross hatch the entire thing so that it creates a nice smooth surface, because okay, we're gonna need, as you can see, this is already stretched out. This is just a placeholder anyway, so yeah, let's move on to the hand. Yeah, the hand is kind of simple actually. We're gonna create that. We're gonna smooth this out. Okay. Now we're gonna smooth this out again, and yeah, let's create that classic thing here. We're gonna create that groove here and also here. This extra crispness. Okay. Sorry for the rotation camera. Okay. This one is a little bit too. I think the palm of the hand is a little bit short. Just gonna pull it up a little bit. Okay. This thing is just like what we did with the feet again. The shape is very, very similar. Shape. Okay, smooth it out. And yeah, now we just can create that definitions, that knuckle definitions. And add it for now, just a placeholder because we are lacking geometry here. So we're just gonna add a nice placeholder. Same thing with this. For the thumb, it goes from the hand. So nice. Okay, so just like what we did with the fingers, with the toes, we're just gonna create a placeholder for the knuckles. I'm not gonna be very specified with the fingers, because to be honest, the detail is gonna be very small anyway. So okay, just gonna dip that in. Actually, the easiest way to create a nice phalanx, probably that's the Roman words for it, phalanx, is basically to create that shape, that chalice kind of shape. And I'm gonna just create a dimple here and make it tapered around the side, and these two, and yeah, that's the way to go. Actually, create a dimple, create taper, smooth it out, taper again, smooth it out, taper, and yeah, that's very much it. You can always do it again. We can just refine it in the next level. But for now, it's more than enough. Create, yeah, now just gonna create a dimple at the back, which is not gonna be very, this is just a very, very extra kind of thing, because this part is not, no one's gonna see it anyway, so it's just for anatomy's sake. Create a groove. Okay, great, and now we create the thumb. That, good. Create whatever dimple here, and just gonna taper it. Okay, now that's very much it, actually. Smooth it out because it's a little bit too drawn. And then create that classic bridge in the middle. And yeah, maybe a little bit up this bone. And that's for the arm. And to be honest, it's actually done. Now we've done the arms, right? The arms, the hands. Now maybe we can add a little bit definitions to the scapula. It's gonna be a little bit dimple here. This is the rhomboids. Yeah, sorry. This is the scapula muscle. Forget it. I gotta forget. Yeah. the dimple, and then this is the muscle, the shoulder, and the latissimus dorsi, yes, the very ubiquitous muscle, but a very important. They're gonna be, that's a good way, kind of thin. That's the thing, I mean, like, despite popular belief that unless you're very buffed, is that latissimus dorsi is a very thin and delicate muscle, actually. They start from the arm and they go down straight to the ilium, and yeah, which is not going to be very seenable because it's going to be buried inside the fat around the butt, the butt, and so yeah, let's just create a placeholder, and yeah, that's a latissimus dorsi. And let's create a little bit of extra groove here for the armpits so that we can see it better, to see the latissimus dorsi better. They're gonna be coming this way, and okay, they're gonna hide a little bit portions. This is still the latissimus dorsi, so this is the visible rib cage. You're gonna see a little bit dimple there. And yeah, that's create a little bit of texture, of groove here. Okay, smooth this out because this is gonna be covered by fat. Anyway, this thing okay, that's the groove, that's the rib cage, clean that shape, then this is the fat, and yeah, I think that's it. We create from scratch. Maybe this thing, we smooth it out. Okay. Because eventually that the gluteus medius and then the fat, the what is this called again? The serratus muscle, I think. Wait a minute, hang on a minute. The oblique muscle, I think. Yes, the external oblique, which runs from the rib cage to the aces, and then the medius eventually is gonna be merged together with the fat around the hips, because it's a female and they kind of have quite a good stock of fat around the hips. So I'm just gonna smooth it out, and okay, that's it actually. I think this is it for today. Let's wrap it up, and first of all, let's see it in the shaded mode. And yeah, that looks very much like human, besides this arm. Let's fix the arm first, okay? Because it's really bad. Smooth it out. Okay. Let's do it again. Just add a little bit of definition. Not too crazy. Okay, guess that's it. Okay, that's looking good. And yeah, that's great. And yeah, I think that's it for now, and that's it for today, and we'll continue this tomorrow, and see you later.